The fall colors are definitely coming to Alaska. Already, early September. And check out some abandoned cars here. Couple of old Toyotas. And some very derelict buildings, or at least one that is severely affected by the permafrost, I guess, or just fallen apart. I don't want to walk onto their property there, but looks like they're building something else right there. And some dogs barking over here. That is the employee housing where I'm living right now. Right there, those cars going by there, is the highway that goes from Fairbanks, which is north of here, and south down to Denali National Park, about 10 miles south, and then Anchorage eventually, about a 4.5 or so hours drive heading that way. And it is like 8 in the evening, and I just wanted to get out and explore a little bit. I heard about like a riverbed or something up this way, so just thought that I would walk up there and see what's there. I haven't walked up there in the past couple of weeks that I've been living and working here now, and just a couple of weeks left. Fall will basically be over by the time that I leave. Fall colors are in full bloom. Man, there's just like abandoned cars left and right around here. Trippy. Whoa, that was kind of weird. Another one over there. There and there. Interesting neighborhood, huh? And so just gonna walk down here. It says no outlet. See what I find. The road does go a ways, it looks like. Pretty classic looking Alaskan cabins here with moose antlers. And so this is the little town of Healy, which is kind of more back that way, and I've mentioned it in previous videos. Healy is where Chris McCandless got dropped off and started hiking this direction, not on the same road, I don't think. I believe that the road that turns into the Stampede Trail that he hiked along is just north, a few miles or something. The road goes, I think, about 15 miles and then ends at a river, and then from there it's another like 20-mile hike out to the bus that he lived and ultimately died in. But that is straight out there, not very far. And as for the temperature, I'm not sure, but it is pretty darn cold. It is probably like upper 40s maybe or something Fahrenheit. Very definite chill in the air. These are pretty looking leaves. Wow. And the sun setting is looking pretty up there. And I'm now kind of getting out into the wilderness already. I mean, not exactly, obviously, but no more houses, and there's, you know, nothing much out that way until you get to Denali National Park, basically, which itself is mostly wilderness. But at least you're getting a little taste of Alaska here and what the terrain is like. Obviously it's very varied. It's a huge country, I mean a huge state. And so there is extreme variation from the north to the south, the east to the west. The tree line is only about 2,000 feet, which is why in the video of Denali National Park that I posted a couple of weeks ago, then you may have noticed there was no trees. It was all just like barren, open valleys and barren ridges and stuff. And someone commented like, oh, it's a shame that all the trees got chopped down. Well, the trees didn't get chopped down. They just never existed at that elevation, because at the beginning of the video, then we were below the tree line, and so you were seeing some trees from the bus there, and then it was a, you know, not all that much of a uphill actually, but a steady incline, so that eventually we got above the tree line, and then there's just no trees. It's just open tundra, and the tundra is these tiny little plants that all cluster together and make this like padded surface that can get very thick, like a foot thick or so, of just little tiny plants that you walk along, and it's very kind of spongy, mossy surface, and it's tough walking because it isn't nice solid ground you're walking along, but it's just this stuff that gives as you walk along it, so that it's kind of like sand, and it makes it quite a workout to walk in. And so that is, you know, out in Denali, the park, out that way, and so that is quite a different terrain from here. And speaking of which, on the Chris McCandless story, then, you know, one of the criticisms pointed at him, and rightly so, is that he didn't really know where he was. You know, he just kind of like hitchhiked out here and got dropped off, and then just hiked off into the wilderness. And if he had known that he was that close to Denali National Park, and known, you know, where the river was that he got stuck at after he walked over that river, because the way that he got over it to begin with was that he arrived here at the end of April, and then he started walking, and the river was, I think it's the Teklanika, that river was frozen over and snow covered. And so he walked over it, hiked out there, found that bus, lived out there, and at some point in the middle of the summer tried to walk back and get out of there, and discovered a river that was rushing, that was too hard for him to get across. And so that's when he turned around and went back to the bus. But if he had known that that river going this way, I'm not sure which way it actually flows, I think probably it would flow north, that if he had gone upstream, or south anyways, then he would have gotten to the Denali Park Road, which is the road that was in my video one day in Denali National Park, that we were driving along on the shuttle bus, and then he could have gotten a free shuttle bus ride from one of those buses back out to civilization, the highway and everything, and would have been saved if he had simply known that a 15-mile or so walk would have gotten him into the park and to a road. Maybe this is the creek bed. It must be the creek bed. That it was my Alaskan roommate TJ that mentioned the creek bed. All right, definitely kind of interesting exploring around here. This is Alaska, that's for sure. It's unique. All right, thanks for watching. More coming from Alaska. And here's what was burning. Not sure what this is all about. Ooh, it feels nice and warm though. Maybe there was some little gathering here or something, or just someone getting rid of some wood, I don't know. But here's the creek. There is actually some water here.